In this video, we'll be taking a look at 3 college football games happening on September 16, 2023, and providing you with free team picks and total picks for each one of those games. So 2 picks for each game, 6 picks in total. Welcome back to Cash Out Sports. Let's dive right into it. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and to click the bell icon to get notified as soon as these videos get released, so that you have more time to plan out your bets as we provide these videos on a daily basis. I can guarantee that you'll have all the important information that you'll need on these 3 college football games after fully watching this video. One more thing before we start. If you would like to gain access to our best exclusive sports picks to take your journey to the next level, then check out our Patreon in the link down below, where we offer our best single picks, parlay picks, and much more. Now let's get started. Tennessee versus Florida. Southeastern Conference rivals battle in primetime Saturday night on ESPN when the number 11 Tennessee Volunteers travel to take on the Florida Gators. Tennessee is coming off a 30-13 win over football championship subdivision opponent Austin Peay, but did not cover as they were favored by 48 points at home. Florida picked up their first win of the season, though it was also against an football championship subdivision school, as they defeated football championship subdivision McNeese 49-7, missing the 48.5-point cover. These teams met last season, with Tennessee winning a shootout 38-33 at home. The Volunteers have won 2 straight games, but they haven't faced a tough test yet, with their opponents having a combined 0-4 record. They have run the ball well so far, and they haven't had to throw the ball a lot. Even though the Gators split their first 2 games, their defense has done a great job so far. They have done a good job defending the run, and they've been better against the pass, so expect them to keep Tennessee's offense in check. The Gators have also played well offensively so far. They couldn't crack Utah's run defense, but they exploded for over 300 rushing yards in their last game. They have also done a good job throwing the ball. The Volunteers did a great job defensively in their first 2 games, especially against the run, but their secondary got exposed by the lowly Governors in their last game, and they will have a hard time slowing down Mertz and company in this game. The Tennessee Volunteers are obviously the more talented team, and them running away with things wouldn't be surprising. However, it's not easy to win in the swamp, especially at night where the energy is different. Also, Florida has a long history of beating up on Tennessee, which includes wins in 8 of the last 10 meetings. Even last year's meeting was competitive, with the Vols winning by 5 points. Florida has a ways to go offensively, but the defense is strong and currently 8th against the pass. I expect a physical rivalry game between these teams as usual, so the Florida Gators to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. The Volunteers average 39.5 points per game through 2 games. They average 24 points per game in their last 3 games against the Gators. They run the ball well, but they will have a hard time running against the Gators, who have a good run defense and held their first 2 opponents to 15.5 points per game, so expect them to keep the Volunteers under their average in this game. The Gators averaged 30 points per game through their first 2 games. They averaged 34 points per game in their last 3 games against the Volunteers. The Volunteers have a good run defense, but they aren't as good against the pass. These teams have played 4 games and put up some impressive numbers, but they really only played 1 good defense, and it didn't go well. Florida only managed 11 points against Utah, struggled on 3rd down, and didn't score a touchdown until the 3rd quarter. Tennessee has been scoring well, but Virginia has one of the weakest defenses in the American Athletic Conference, and the Volunteers should have scored more than 30 against an football championship subdivision school. Florida showed that they want to run first offense in their win last week, which will speed the game up by keeping the clock running. Tennessee is on the road and will not want to make mistakes, leading to both teams playing conservatively. Even though the Gators will score more than 20 points in this game, they won't score enough points to push the score past the total. The Gators and Volunteers played under the total in 3 of their last 4 meetings. Under the projected total is our full game total pick. Bowling Green versus Michigan. As we approach the weekend, all eyes are on the Michigan Stadium, where the Bowling Green Falcons are gearing up to face the undefeated Michigan Wolverines in a game that promises to be a thrilling encounter. The Falcons are looking to upset the Wolverines in their home ground, a feat easier said than done given the Wolverines' current form and home field advantage. Last season, the Wolverines showcased a dominant performance, and this season, they have maintained that momentum, starting with a clean slate. On the other hand, the Falcons have had a mixed start start with 1 win and 1 loss. As they head into this game, the stakes are high and the pressure is on both teams to deliver a performance that will resonate well with their season objectives. The Michigan Wolverines are riding a wave of undeniable momentum coming into this game with a 2-0 record. The team has been a powerhouse in both offense and defense, showcasing a well-rounded performance that has seen them dominate their opponents in the early stages of the season. Looking at the statistics, the Wolverines have a remarkable offense average 447 yards per game, with J.J. McCarthy steering the offensive unit with a total of 558 passing yards and 5 touchdowns to his name. The synergy between McCarthy and his favorite receiver, Roman Wilson, who has already bagged 5 touchdowns and accumulated 167 receiving yards, is expected to be a significant threat to the Falcons' defense, which has allowed an average of 357 yards per game in their previous encounters. On the ground, Blake Corum has been a force to reckon with, rushing for 153 yards and securing 4 touchdowns, showcasing a level of agility and skill that has been a nightmare for defenses. The Wolverines have a robust defensive lineup that has only allowed an average of just 232 yards per game, showcasing their ability to stifle attacks and dominate the possession game. On the flip side, while the Falcons have shown glimpses of brilliance, especially in their passing game with Connor Bazelak throwing for 390 yards and securing 3 touchdowns, their defense remains a point of concern. The team will need to significantly up their game to contain the Wolverines' multifaceted attack. Given the current form and statistical backing, the Wolverines hold a significant edge in this encounter. This feels like one of those games that Michigan usually plays early in the year where the Wolverines come out and blow away a Mid-American Conference opponent, and I just don't feel like the Falcons can keep pace here. Bazelak's seen plenty of action against the Big Ten after playing for Indiana last year, but I don't think he has the same talent he had at Indiana. Grounded on their current performance and the depth in their squad that has been firing on all cylinders, the Michigan State Wolverines to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. As we gear up for this encounter, the offensive units of both teams promise a game riddled with touchdowns and exhilarating plays. The Wolverines have been a scoring machine, with their offensive unit showcasing a high level of coordination and skill, translating to a high average point score per game. Their receiver, Roman Wilson, has been in splendid form, and coupled with Blake Corum's rushing prowess, we can expect the Wolverines to rack up a high score. On the other hand, the Falcons have not been left behind in the scoring department, with notable performances from their quarterback and running back, showcasing their ability to find the end zone. However, their defense has shown vulnerabilities, allowing a significant number of yards in their previous games, a trend that, if not rectified, might see them conceding a high score. Both teams have the arsenal to turn this encounter into a high-scoring thriller, promising a game where the scoreboard will be ticking constantly upward. Given the offensive firepower of the Wolverines and the Falcons' ability to score coupled with their defensive vulnerabilities, this one ends up being a high-scoring affair. Over the projected total is our full game total pick. Georgia Tech versus Ole Miss. Two major programs in the South meet in a non-conference battle when the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets take on the number 17 Ole Miss Rebels. Georgia Tech just picked up their first win of the season, defeating football championship subdivision opponent South Carolina State 48-13, but did not cover the 44-point spread as favorites. Ole Miss is coming off a huge road victory, defeating number 24 Tulane 37-20, covering as 8-point road favorites. Ole Miss dominated this matchup last season, winning 42-0 on the road. The Rebels are currently listed as 18-point favorites. Kickoff is scheduled from Vaught-Hemingway Stadium in Oxford and can be found on the Southeastern Conference Network. Ole Miss won big last year, but Georgia Tech had a different quarterback. Haynes King has Southeastern Conference experience from his time at the Texas Aggies, and he did not just ride the bench. He had 9 passing touchdowns for the Aggies. This season, King has looked solid. He has a 7-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio and played well against Louisville, except for his late fumble. He will continue to grow and will not be overwhelmed by a Southeastern Conference opponent. Ole Miss beat Mercer by 1,000,000, then needed a late run to beat Tulane after falling behind early. Georgia Tech has revenge on their minds, and they are in much better shape since Key took over as head coach. Ole Miss has to be concerned about their running game and their third down conversion rate. Haynes King was a strong pickup for the Yellow Jackets, and he gives them some credibility as a passer. Last season, Ole Miss covered just one of their last 7 games. Ole Miss is the more talented team, obviously, and could run away with things against a spotty Georgia Tech defense. However, this is a bit of a look-ahead spot for Ole Miss with Alabama on deck. Also, Georgia Tech has shown explosiveness offensively through 2 games, and that includes having the 9th best total offense and the 22nd best rushing attack. Georgia Tech can move the ball and chew the clock, which makes it hard to blow this team out. I am also not sold that top receiver Tree Harris will be 100% in this game, and the Rebels' running attack has been average so far. Lot of points. This is a lot of points to lay at home against another Power 5 opponent. Take all the free points in this one, so the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. Ole Miss scored all over Mercer but only had 10 first-half points against Tulane. The Rebels' top receiver may not be 100%, and they have not generated much with their running game. Georgia Tech will be able to slow the game down enough to keep it close. Tech's quarterback, Haynes King, only has 1 interception on the year and will limit his mistakes against the Southeastern Conference defense. Both teams have put up some big numbers so far, which helped inflate this total to over 60, but each team will be playing the best defense they have seen all season. Last year's game was low scoring, and while I know that Georgia Tech is not going to get shut out again, the Rebels do have a strong defense. Georgia Tech's defense is not there yet, but they have improved. They've gone under in 3 of their last 4 games. I don't see this necessarily as a shootout. I do see Ole Miss scoring in the low to mid-30s and Georgia Tech in the 20s. This game will be closer than the Vegas line predicts, which will also keep it below the total. Under the projected total is our full game total pick. That's all for now, so if you have any other games you would like reviewed, then leave a comment down below with the game you would like analyzed. Subscribe to our channel, leave a like on this video, and we'll get to it as soon as we possibly can. We would also love to hear your opinion on the picks presented to you in this video, whether you agree or disagree with them, so leave a comment down below and do let us know.